My name's Ewan Whyte. I'm from Birmingham. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, um, been playing in bands for many years, and this is my first solo venture.
So, growing up, who were your musical influences?
Pretty much what my parents were listening to, like most people. So my mum and dad are big fans of Paul Simon. So Paul Simon was always playing on the way to, holiday destinations and stuff, long car journeys. Johnny Cash, Michael Jackson, which wasn't from my parents' view. That was just more, I was one of those kids who was obsessed with MJ growing up, to the point where my big sister told me that he died as a joke. And I was just devastated. I was just like, oh, that's really funny. It wasn't funny. Prince, someone who I got way more into the older I got. For some reason, when I was a kid, I thought you had to pick between Michael Jackson and Prince. I thought it was one or the other. I don't know why. And then I guess Bruce Springsteen's a massive inspiration. I love Bruce Springsteen. And yeah, a weird one about Bruce Springsteen. When I was a kid, I'd never seen Bruce Springsteen. A photo of him. I've been listening to him since I was really young from my parents. And I just, in my mind, I imagined a big black guy. He, in my mind, as a visual, he looked like he'd be kind of a big black dude with like with his voice. And then when I saw him, I was just like, wow, all right, looks like I had that wrong completely. But yeah, I fell in love with his music, his storytelling. Same with Paul Simon, that their way of telling stories and their lyricism. I can only dream to be half as good as them at songwriting one day. So yeah, a whole range of different artists. But yeah, so Paul Simon, Michael Jackson, Bruce Springsteen, Prince, and then modern day people more like Christine and the Queens. Really love her. Who else? So many people. I'm struggling to think now on the spot. There's so many. Vampire Weekend, Haim, love those guys. Loads actually. There's a great artist who I collaborated actually on this single with in the writing, and he produced the track called CJ Pandit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually been a bit of an inspiration. Listening to his music, I just love his music. Awesome guy. Yeah, and you should check him out, CJ Pandit. He's doing some really cool stuff, and it was brilliant to work with him on this release.
Okay. Is there anyone you've seen live that really kind of got you into music, and you went to a gig of theirs and thought, this is kind of what I want to do?
I think so. There was definitely moments when I was a kid. My mum is friends with Dave Wakeling, who's the lead singer of The Beat over in America, his sister. And when I was a kid, I used to be in a band called Tempting Rosie, and this was pre-Kyoko, this was like school band. And we were like a ska band, like kind of thought we were like Real Big Fish or something. And I was out skating one day, and he popped round my house with some tickets, Dave Wakeling did. And I was out at the time, and I got back and found out, oh yeah, Dave Wakeling came round to give you these tickets. And I was like, no way. So I invited Matt, who now sings for UB40, who was lead singer of Tempting Rosie, to come along, and we went and we saw The Beat support. Was it or maybe In Excess was supporting The Beat, really random, at Symphony Hall in Birmingham, and we were about 13, 14. And that was a really like inspiring gig to see that, and to meet the band afterwards, and just to kind of go to that gig and to see someone who's playing a similar style of music play to large audiences. Yeah, that was a big gig. So seeing The Beat at Symphony Hall, that was a biggie.
So can you tell us a little bit about your musical journey so far?
Mm-hmm. So it all started off, depends how far back you want to go.
As far back as you want to go.
All right, so started playing trumpet in primary school, and around this age, this was like year 5, so I started playing trumpet. My teacher came into primary school, Mr. Gasson, shout out Mr. Gasson, and he played Coronation Street in assembly, and my family were big Corrie fans back then, and I was just like, whoa, this is my guy. This is what I'm doing now. This is it. I'm playing trumpet. And I loved that. So like, I don't know what it was. Like, it's such a silly story about someone playing Coronation Street, but I don't know. I love the sound. I love the pure sound of the trumpet. I love like it sounds almost kind of like heavenly, and it's I kind of gravitated towards like classical music. And from there, I was and still am not an academic person at all. Always struggled at school, extra time in exams. Used to get let out of the class because I would need to go run around the playground because I had too much energy. So music was like my thing, which I could feel good at. It was one of the few things that I felt like I was any good at. That and sport and stuff. So I quickly took on guitar as well. And then when I got to secondary school, I had a really cool teacher called Martin Riley, who teaches piano at conservatoire, but he came into my secondary school and taught me piano. And he started to like help out with my compositions, and I would show him songs that I was writing back then as well. And then I took up clarinet in school. And just kind of, I guess I've been very, very fortunate. My parents have been really super supportive and been in a position where they can kind of like pay for my musical lessons. So it was hard at first because my dad was convinced I was not going to practice and I wasn't going to take the instrument seriously. And I remember him and my mum having a big argument about like, oh, he's just, it's just another fad. But I probably like fell in love with music, and yeah, I loved that. And then I would write little songs when I was a kid as well. And yeah, so I just practiced and played loads of different instruments, and really kind of went down to trumpet, which was kind of my real one that I kind of excelled in the most. Playing in orchestras, in the Birmingham schools orchestras, where I met the other brass guys, who I then went to ask to join my school band, which at the time was Tempting Rosie. So it was Josh and Lawrence, which then evolved into Kyoko, who then we did things like the London 2012 Olympics, performing on the site there. We supported people like the Holloways, the Specials. We went on tour with UB40, Lee Scratch Perry, Tiny Temper, went here, there, and everywhere, and had an amazing time doing that. And that was our lives for a long time, doing Kyoko. And I wouldn't change a thing. That was an amazing period of my life. And it got to a point just before lockdown where I just kind of decided, I was like, you know what, this has got to a point now where I don't feel like, for me, I felt like my journey had come to an end with the band there. And there were things that I wanted to do and other things that were kind of pulling me away. And I feel like the guys needed to do their thing and I needed to do my thing. So I kind of decided to kind of pursue the songwriting, which is what I've always wanted to do. I've always dreamt of writing songs for other people. And I just love writing songs. Like, if it's not being on stage, it's being in a room, preferably with other people. Actually, I love collaborating with songs, and that excitement you get when you feel you have something special, and that moment when it's just yours, and you're with the other person, you're like, oh, like it's exciting just to have a tune together. So during lockdown, I just started. I went on a mission. Basically, I said I'm gonna make a real go at writing for other people, and didn't really know what I was getting involved in. I had like pretty naive approach to kind of how difficult that would be to kind of get into writing for other people and how competitive it is. But I just slid into people's DMs and I found songwriters that I was really big admirers of, and I just hit them up basically with my demos. I dusted off my old equipment, and then I kind of, like, in this room here, just kind of built my own setup. That's not true at all. I bought a desk off Facebook Marketplace, but I assembled it. It was a real simple setup. I've got my family piano in here, and just my guitars, my brass instruments, and my whiskey collection to help.
I always is.
If a song goes well, I hit there. If a song goes bad, I hit there as well. So, yeah, and then I just sent people my demos, and I managed to land a couple of like sessions with people like Naughty Boy. And then I got in for a wicked writer called Sarah Blanchard. She's written for Jess Glynn, Tom Grenham, loads, Anne Marie, like just an amazing songwriter. And then we've just been collaborating on loads of things and having a great time with that. And she's just opened a few doors for me and introduced me to some lovely people. And she's been a legend, man. So I guess, yeah, just use Instagram. If anyone's listening to this and you don't know how to do something, just message someone. And then, yes, the writing's been going really well, but I needed my own musical identity. Like, I missed writing songs for me. And I didn't know exactly what that would be. I didn't know, because I love all kinds of music. I didn't know what style I was going to kind of try and home in on. So I just decided not to worry about that because I couldn't decide. I thought, let's just write songs that I'm proud of and that I'm besotted with. And that's what I did. And I got a bunch of tunes, which I wanted to keep for me. And these are the songs that I'm releasing now for the first time under my name, which is really scary. It took me a long time to get the gonads to release the music, but I'm really, really excited that I've done it. And it's really exciting. I'm really happy. And that's where I am now. Yeah. And then in between that as well, I guess my first gig out of lockdown was, I got a message of my mate Jordan from Easy Life asking me to put a brass section together and perform with them on Jimmy Kimmel Live, which was nuts. And that was my first gig after 2 years or a year and a half of like not doing any gigs because of lockdown.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. I was crapping it. I was crapping myself. But yeah. So it's been really cool. It's been a great journey so far. Incredibly grateful for every opportunity. Never take anything for granted. And just really excited for what the future holds. Who knows?
So how do you actually find the writing process when you're creating a new song? Do you find it quite easy just to go into a room and say, this is an idea, and kind of write it down, or do you find it quite difficult?
It depends. It really does depend. I think it depends on how I'm feeling mentally in that state as well. Like if I'm feeling like really creative, or if I'm feeling confident, or if I've got like a bunch of ideas I've just got to work on, or if I'm collaborating with people that I don't know. If I've ever gone into like a session, I don't know the people, that can be quite nerve-wracking because you don't know any of these people, and you don't know, you're all working each other out, and songs can be personal. I remember there's one song which I'm going to release in, I think it's like the 4th or 5th single I've got coming up. And it was the hardest session I've ever done in my life. I was in Ealing Studios, and I was working with an incredible guy called Wes, who is Naughty Boy's producer, works with WizKid, an amazing guy. So I was already nervous working with him because I just felt out of my depth. But I wrote this song that was just really, really, really poignant at things that were happening in my life at that time. And looking back, I was like, wow, like that needed to happen. You know, Wes was pushing me to kind of like really lyrically tell a story and talk about things. And I was kind of, without realizing, reluctantly fighting back because I didn't want to like open up like that. But so those ones can be hard. But sometimes when I'm feeling creative, I'll be winding up my partner by like in the middle of the night, she'll like wake up and I'll be on my phone like singing some song into my voice notes. And she's like, yeah, can you do that next door, please? Oh, sorry. So on the voice note, half of them you can hear. When I like just hear Eleanor, my partner, just like, Ewan, and I'm like, whoops. And then you listen back the day after and you can barely hear what's happening. It's barely audible. So it can completely range. Sometimes whole songs have literally popped into my head and then I've just tweaked them from there and then like written the lyrics. But usually for me, lyrics come at the end. I'm mainly melody. Melodies kind of my thing. Like I'm obsessed with melodies and even more obsessed with harmonies and big choruses and euphoric big payoffs in songs where, like, you know, there's big fan of the boy band choruses, man. So that's my bag. Yeah.
So you've recently released your debut single, Can't Get Close. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Can't Get Close came about because I met a guy called CJ Pandit through working with Easy Life in Leicester. He has a studio space in their space where they have their lockup, and I just heard this music when we were taking a break, and then I just got speaking to him in like the communal area and listened to his stuff, and I was just massively fanboying over it straight away. I was like, oh wow, this sounds amazing. And also just like really just inspired by someone who's just going for it, and in a space at that time when I wasn't really mentally there, didn't have the confidence to do my own thing. I was just really just intrigued and listening to other people and how they'd gone about the way about releasing their own music. And he had similar inspirations to me, Bruce Springsteen, and heavily 80s inspired and stuff. So I kind of like organized to get a session in with him, and me and him wrote Can't Get Close fairly quickly. It was just like he had this keys idea on the lay down the chords, and then we quickly had the melody, and then we quickly had the Can't Get Close hook, which just turned into kind of what the song was evolved around. And it was just really, really fun. It was a really fun way to write songs. He's like really, really crazy creative and crazy like fast at everything. So it was quite hard to keep up at times, but it was a brilliant experience for me, and it's a great exercise to work with someone who's on a real high level at writing and production, and a wicked producer. Yeah. So he laid down like the keys and guitars, and I was doing brass and putting all the vocals down. And then the second day we got everything to a really nice place, and then I hit up a few friends who I'd made contact with over lockdown. So Emma Johnson's the sax player for Easy Life, who I drafted in. She's an amazing player from Leeds. So she agreed to do the sax. Giacomo Tura is a Italian guitarist who I met off Instagram, who's got hundreds of thousands of followers now, and just Tom Holland from Spider-Man follows him. Like, he's just blown up throughout lockdown, just uploading these amazing little Instagram reels of him soloing on guitar and creating his loops. And then Dana Fisher did the bass, who plays for Sam Henshaw, and everyone else. Literally, I've gone blank now, but just like Dana Fisher's bass was insane. When he sent me the bass stems for the track, I was losing my mind and sending voice notes to CJ, just like, wow, this sounds incredible. And then David Dyson, of course, is a good mate of mine, wicked writer, amazing drummer. He's played for people like Youngblood and Marie as well. Jazz Musician of the Year like a few years ago. Legend. And he laid down drums on the track. So me and CJ got it to a place, and then we gave it to the big dogs, and they did their thing. And it was sick. I can't believe I just said big dogs. But so it was amazing to get these musicians on this track. I'm a bit of a cowboy in a lot of instruments. I can play a bit of guitar, a bit of piano, a little bit of trombone and stuff like that. So trumpet and vocals being my main thing. So to be able to outsource to these group of amazing musicians to get on the record is just like dream come true, the absolute dream team. So yeah.
Okay. Can you describe your music in 3 words?
No. I don't think so. No, I can't.
Fair enough. Well, at least you're 3.
Let's get I'd say genre hopping something, because it's so difficult, because my songs are not like, you'll see if the next single, it's like a slightly country kind of pop vibe going on. Like, if I could have placed it with any artist, to be Shania Twain or Taylor Swift or something, but it's me. So I don't know, I'm jumping between things, and I'm loving that about it. So no, I can't is the answer. That's
fine. I've had people in the past where they've just told me to come and said it's very good music. So,
Very good music. Yeah. Well, I should have said that. That's way better.
Okay, so do you have a dream venue that you would like to play someday?
There's so many amazing venues. Like, no is the answer to that. There's venues that I've played over the years which have had something special about them. One of them being the Barrowlands in Glasgow. Played there supporting UB40 and played there with Easy Life. And both days there's just something about Scotland. I'm half Scottish as well, so my family are like from up there, and it's I love the people. I love the fact that you go there and they just rip the piss out of you, and that's amazing. Like, it's what I've grown up with my parents, and I love it. It's probably why I do it to everyone else as well. But there's just something about the crowds there. So Barrowlands, I would say that would be amazing. It'd be incredible. I guess like a main room O2 Academy would be fantastic as well. But in Birmingham. But yeah, I don't know. I think I think Barrowlands for me. There's something special about that. There's like a raucous, unhinged energy in that room, and it's a spring floorboards, and it's you see all the people who have been there. It's an old building, and it's steeped with history, and it's proper rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
So I probably don't belong there, but it's cool.
So what's the music scene like where you're based? Do you feel there's enough help around for people like yourself to get your music out there? Is there enough venues that you can play as well?
Yeah, so I'm based in Birmingham, and I love Birmingham. I've been frustrated with the city over the years, growing up in Birmingham, pushing bands and stuff. But really, I think the city's really like over the years, it's got better and better and better. If you look from like where Birmingham was 10 years ago to where it is now, like it's looking great. And the great thing is a lot of people are sticking in Birmingham. There's a time when, and I completely get it, if people want to go down to London, they want to do their thing, they want to, go down there where a lot of the work is. But a lot of people are now staying in Birmingham, and there's just loads of things happening. There's loads of great venues. There's loads of great promoters. So yeah, there's Birmingham's got loads going on. So yeah, I'm super proud to be from such like a multicultural, awesome city. And the food scene is amazing. Forget the music scene. The food scene is brilliant. But yeah, music's not bad either.
What have you got planned for the rest of this year?
So this year, I've got a few different session gigs playing brass for different people, which I'm looking forward to. I have got a bunch of singles, most importantly, which I'm going to be pushing out of my own stuff. I don't want to say the timeline of when I'm thinking, because it's most likely going to change. So I'm going to veer away from that. But I've got about over 6 songs, which I love, which I can't wait to put out. And I think people are going to be surprised with the kind of some of the direction I've gone in with some of them. And yeah, so I've got the support from BBC Introducing, hopefully going to get a bit of the Asian network backing as well, being half Asian. That'd be great. And yeah, so I think I'm going to got a bunch of music videos coming out as well. And a bunch of doing like different writing camps and writing for other people. That's still like a massive passion for me. But yeah, just collaborating with different musicians, writing with different people, doing a bit of mentoring as well for other like young musicians in the Birmingham area. But yeah, just pushing my own projects, and yeah, I'm building up some momentum. So it's going to be single, video, single, just kind of like bam, 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 and then sleep, and then hit it again, hopefully.
Sounds like a plan. Is there any information you want to put onto this interview as well?
So socials wise, it's at Ewan Whyte Music for everything. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything, the old standard stuff. You can check out the single everywhere as well. There's going to be a video coming out soon, which is going to be quite entertaining. It might have involved, where are they? Let's see if I can grab. It might have involved these little Facebook Marketplace purchase. I'm not a skater, but I might have skated a little bit for this video. I was like, be fine. I don't need to, I'll have a little skate in my parents' patio the night before. It'll be cool. So you'll see how that ended up.
Yeah. If it's anything like my ideas, it's usually, yeah, it's fine at the time, but when it actually comes to doing the ideas, you think, why did I think about doing this?
That's exactly what was happening for this video. That was exactly what was happening, but I wouldn't change a thing because it was hilarious. Yeah.
At least you didn't end up down A&E. That would usually be my case. I'd end up
That could have been a better video. That would have been a better video, maybe. We'll see.